Heyo! What's up? Hey, Phantom. Alright, today we're going to be planning out some of the plot. And I'm going to make this plot thick. Because who don't like a thick plot? Oh yeah, we're going to make this good plot. We're going to do it in the picture form, because... Well, we're going to start with, I kind of had an idea of what I wanted to do already, and then take input from whoever wants to add on to it, or if I haven't really planned the whole thing out. I really haven't thought it out in detail, but that's what I'm gonna do now. So a good story kind of starts like right in the middle. Yeah, so you want when you're having a book, you kind of want to start it out right in the thick of things to make sure that it's interesting to start with. So I kind of have a rough idea of what I was wanting to do, and so just a little background. The world I'm building, I'm writing my book in, sort of the setting, it's a unique one. I made the world myself, and I kind of did some planning for a D&D campaign that I started. Didn't get to finish it, which is part of the reason why I wanted to write a book. And then, so the world that it's set in is, it used to be one big, like, Pangea type island, where all the continents of the world were, just one big island. You never played D&D? Yeah, you don't have to really have played D&D to understand what I'm talking about. I'm going to try and kind of put it in terms that everyone would understand, because I mean, if I was going to publish this book and have people read it, I don't necessarily want to write it to where people who haven't played D&D don't know what I'm talking about, because that would limit the amount of sales I can make, you know? But basically the idea is the world used to be one big Pangea, and then I was thinking that like some magic spell kind of like destroys the continent and breaks it up into different islands and different continents. And I was thinking right at the beginning of the book, that's what we'll start with, is the breaking up of the islands. That's going to be right at the beginning, along with the way we're going to tell that is through we're also going to be starting the book kind of right at the graduation of what's his face, and where is he? Yeah, it's gonna be right at the graduation of Cathar. So that's gonna be the start of the book is Cathar graduating from his magic school where he learned how to cast spells. And then at his graduation, there's going to be the world splitting apart, basically, like the end of the world. No big deal. Um, they'll be introduced later on in the story. They'll have a separate kind of thing that picks them up. So this is kind of, I was kind of thinking that uh, his rival, um, Kathar's rival, is going to be in the same class as him. He's gonna also be, a mage graduating from school, and he's actually going to be the valedictorian, the tippy top of the class, up on stage. And as the islands are breaking up, obviously everything breaks into chaos, and I'm gonna have it so that Cathar has to kind of like make a choice of whether to save his rival or save someone else or do something else, and he's going to intentionally choose not to save the valedictorian or whoever it is. And um, and then in turn, the so that'll kind of be the first event. The next event is going to be Cathar's home. So, since you got confused with Gunchan's name, I was thinking I was wanting to stick with cultures that I know, at least for right now, because if I was going to write a character that is Korean, I don't want to unintentionally say or have the character do something that wouldn't align with the Korea's culture or stuff like that. I don't want to, yeah, I don't want to get canceled or unintentionally offend somebody. Let me fix this. So the next kind of plot point I was thinking is since Cathar ends up not saving this valedictorian, um, he's going to kind of like retaliate by he'll survive still, um, but then he's going to seek revenge on Cathar, and he's going to burn down his family home, steal his riches and stuff. Maybe he'll kill some family members or something, and that's going to kind of create a villain. The valedictorian's going to kind of become the villain of the story, and Cathar is going to be seeking revenge against him, trying to track down and get his vengeance for destroying his family, essentially. Um, After that, we're probably going to have Cathar. Family members' deaths will be required for character development. Yeah, I mean, it makes sense that he would kill his family. Just creating all the more reason that Cathar actually wants to go out and get his revenge. After that, I was thinking that he would, there needs to be an event where Cathar can kind of learn. Maybe that'll be tagged at the end of this, his family, um, just learning where they're going so he can track him. And then he's going to inevitably need to raise money to be able to go travel to go, hunt this dude down. And I think at that point, that's where I'm going to have him meet Scipio. Um, he's going to attempt to get a job at, the Adventurers Guild. And he's gonna go get a job, and he's gonna fail because a weak wizard that kind of knows magic, kind of doesn't have any experience going on adventures. You're not going to be allowed to go out and make money by yourself. You're going to need to form a party or have someone help you in this matter. So he's going to meet Scipio, who is, I was thinking Scipio could be more experienced, kind of older. Yeah, I mean, I don't know how much experience you have with the fantasy setting. I don't know if you watch any like anime or things like that where it's like reincarnated into a fantasy world or whatever. But he's gonna go get a job to basically hunt down some enemies, some different monsters or something like that. And he's going to need to get an ally. Written a bit of stories. Okay. Yeah, he's going to go and try and get an ally to help him in his adventure to actually go kill these monsters. And he's going to find Scipio to be able to help him. So then I'm going to have him, fight some monsters. It's pretty standard. I'm not really sure that that's like important to write a chapter about. No, I think that's where he's going to actually end up finding Lucina, where he's going to get injured by the monsters and they have to rush back in town to get help, and then is that how we spelled it? Lucy, that's not how it's spelled. Should Luciana be an enemy for the majority of the book, but join them for the... No, I would... Because if you think about it, if they're going to be out adventuring and fighting monsters, they're going to need some way to heal themselves when they get hurt. and so having her join them would be good. Because in all honesty, you're not really gonna see much of the enemy forces throughout the book. You're not actually gonna be. So she would at that point be a minor character. No, I was thinking it would be more interesting if she was there throughout the book the entire time. That way you can kind of explore the little love triangle that they're going to have, and it would keep the book a little interesting in situations where it might be maybe a little less um, entertaining, like if they're having to go to market, or they're spending a night out in the woods or something, and they have to um, sleep or whatever. Having her there would actually make that interesting, because most people aren't going to rent to read about that, because who wants to sit there reading a book where it's just like they went to sleep, they woke up, nothing happened in the night. It's just, she can add just a little bit of drama to the book. So after they meet Lucina, I'm thinking they will make their way to the next city, and a little bit what? After, I was thinking they'd make their way to the next city and maybe run into some, like, henchmen or something. Because the valedictorian's probably going to be, like, some rich kid's son. A little bit of drama. Yeah. I don't know how well I'm going to do writing the drama. Just because I've never really written something like that. But the book's also not going to just be about them. It's not a book about their love story, I should say. It's going to be more focused kind of on this whole revenge arc for Cathar. After they meet Lucina, directed audience. It's for people who, it's kind of like Lord of the Rings, basically. It's closer to Lord of the Rings, and the types of people that enjoy reading Lord of the Rings, high fantasy, playing games like D&D or Magic, or stuff like that. Yeah, they'll make their way to the next city and probably run into some henchmen and have to fight henchmen. Oh. Ideally, I'm gonna make this. My goal was to write like maybe 30 chapters, somewhere in there. I feel like that's probably too ambitious for it being my first book. But yeah, it'll probably be somewhere like 16 plus, something like that. Yeah, it's somewhere around 16 plus. I mean, I'm not making it be super intense to where you need to put an age rating on it, really. Just anyone who's capable of reading the book could probably read the book. It's not going to be super gory or anything like that. After they fight in the city, this is another big plot point that I want to add. Kind of a way to redirect the whole story. They're going to meet I was thinking they're gonna meet a demon and have to make a deal with a demon. They won't know it's a demon. He'll be, disguised. But I think having to make a deal with a demon would be pretty cool. I mean, I don't know. I might not. I'm not too sure. When I start writing, I'll actually know what kind of details I want to add and stuff. But right now, I mean, I'm just trying to make it more of an all ages book. Yeah, so they'll meet a demon and kind of make a deal with the demon. The demon's just gonna kind of give them information, and in return, it'll kind of be like I don't know if you've heard of the story of making deals with like fey creatures. Essentially, it's like I'll give you the information if I can have your name. And they'll be like, yeah, my name is Noah, and now give me the information. Well, the fey creature would actually steal their name, so you can no longer say, hi, I'm Noah, because that's not your name anymore. You paid with your name. It'd be something like that where read The Devil and I've not read that book, so I'm not quite sure what that would be. But it'd kind of be like one of those hidden deals where it's like, yeah, I'll give you the information if you give me this, but the characters really don't understand what they're giving up. And I'm thinking this demon is going to send them on another quest. Makes a slave trade with the devil. Yeah, it's not gonna be like a slave trade. It's not an actual transaction necessarily. It's kind of like you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours type of thing, where he's gonna give them information and then expect something in return from them later. If that makes sense. The next plot point. So the demon's gonna tell them maybe where to find a magical weapon that's guarded by a strong enemy. Could be like a magic sword or something. Or a new spell book for Cathar. Um, but there'll be some kind of magic item that the demon tells them to go and retrieve. And they're gonna have to fight a big monster. Maybe like a... Could be like a minotaur or... like I think a sphinx would be too powerful at this point for them, because they are, still kind of beginners. I think like a minotaur would be a good fight for them. Should Scipio be familiar with the area of where this weapon is? If he was already familiar with where the weapon was, I feel like that would remove the reason for them having to talk with the demon. I mean, they're all going to kind of be born and raised in the area that the book is taking place. You do not know how Sphinx work in fantasy then. Sphinx is more like a cat that can actually fight and does psychological damage to you throughout the battle. So it's more than just solving a riddle. But yeah, I was thinking they'd be sent to go find a weapon. So they'll have to fight something. Some kind of mid-game mini boss. So after they find this weapon, I'm thinking they'll probably be powerful enough to go take out Cathar's enemy. But or at least go fight him again. I'm tired today. So after they find the weapon, they're probably going to go and only one who is worthy. No, I'm not thinking we do something like that just yet. Just because, again, these are a bunch of noob people. It's like you just started the video game. And this is just like going from the tutorial to like the first boss, basically. Because when I'm writing this book, I am thinking about making it maybe like a series of books where I can write sequels and stuff like that to it. And maybe in one of the later books they can get a weapon, kind of like you're thinking something like Mjolnir or the Master Sword or something. Will the weapon get more powerful over time? I'm not quite sure what kind of weapon it's going to be. I mean, obviously when they try and go get the weapon, it's gonna be something that is maybe told in like local myths or like bedtime stories to them as they were kids. sequels are necessary. Maybe. I don't know. It depends on how this book goes. If it actually gets published or not. Because, I mean, you gotta have to be able to release the first book of the series before you start writing others. And I'm not quite sure. Yeah, it won't be like a weapon that everybody knows about. It'll just be like the local town weapon or something. Or maybe it's a family heirloom from Cathar where he has to... Actually, I came up with a good idea. Okay. So the weapon is going to be one of Cathar's family heirlooms, and then he has to go back home to go get it, and he finds out some of his family actually lived. What do we think about that plot twist? Not all of his family. Some of the family has to still be dead, but maybe like he finds his sister that's still alive, or just like one family member. And obviously he'd only find the family member after he got the weapon. How do you come... Bro, ideas like this just pop in my head all day. All day, all night, so... Family reunion. So yeah, maybe like his sister's still alive, or his mom or his dad's still alive. Only one of the family members of probably like 7 or 8 family members, they're still alive, and something like that. I need to get my head examined in both good ways and bad ways. There's a lot of things wrong with my head. So after the family reunion, where do we go from there? Do we have the family member join them? Maybe it could be like his sister, and now we have both Lucina and his sister both trying to get with Scipio, and that could entail make them have kind of like a conflict where you have like a cat fight over the guy. Yes, this is Chirp from Minecraft. What do you think about that? What do you think about having... Okay. We'll add that as a plot point where it's a sister, and then they're gonna fight over trying to be with Scipio. After that, I'm assuming they're going to want to go and try and fight the bad guy again. So they'll have to go catch up with him, which means they probably need a way, like another clue, on how to find this guy. Because they kind of lost his trail at this point. And so instead of okay, so we're gonna have to for now I can just find a way to track him down. Just because I don't know exactly how they're going to go about that. I can always come up with it later. Then they're probably going to go fight him. And I'm thinking they win, right? I'm thinking they go in, they walk in this bitch, and they fight him. And they win. But they injure him and he escapes. Somehow, some way, he's able to lose, maybe maybe he loses an eye or an arm or something, but he still manages to run away and escape from them, right? Recognizes Cathar's sister. I mean, yeah, I'm sure he will make comments about it, because he'll remember Cathar, and I'm sure he's like, oh, I must have missed one of them. It'd be really cruel. If he loses an eye, but he also finishes killing the rest of Cathar's family. So in this same fight, he loses an eye, he kills Cathar's sister. It's like, man, I get to finish the job now. Stabs her. I don't know if that's a good idea or not. I think it'd be a good trade-off. What? Why don't you like it? I thought that was also a good idea, because, I mean, you have to well, like I said, this book isn't about love. This book is about Cathar getting revenge, right? At this point, Cathar's done some work. He's gone. He's fought this bad guy. He's injured him, but, like, you have to give him a reason to continue to pursue him. You have to give Cathar a renewed sense of this guy has to die. And what's a good way of doing that? Having him kill the very sister that he thought he just got back, right? She'd be kind of a sacrificial lamb, sure, but that would then give Cathar a renewed sense of vigor of, I'm chasing this guy down again. I'm going to continue to try and get rid of this man. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like Game of Thrones or Walking Dead, where you try and make it so that people feel like anybody could die at any time. You don't want to give the reader a sense of comfortability. Yeah, I mean, that's essentially what he's trying to do now. So, okay, how about this? I'm thinking at the beginning of the book, when they're graduating and Cathar doesn't end up saving him, I'm thinking maybe he loses an eye there, right? So this guy loses an eye, and that's why he's like, you know what? I lost an eye because of this guy. He didn't save me. I'm gonna go kill his family because I lost my eye. He's thinking eye for an eye, right? And then maybe at this point he loses something other than an eye. Something, yeah, literally an eye for an eye. I'm thinking, and then on this next fight, maybe he loses something more. Maybe he does lose an arm or a leg. Um, just to show that things are escalating, things are getting more and more um, climactic, things are actually snowballing. This conflict is growing, it's getting more bloody, more dangerous. Then I was also thinking maybe he's saved by his father or something, who's um, the regional landlord or the regional head of. I get it. Your intent is that no one has plot. Yeah, I don't. I don't want to people to think, oh well, the hero always lives, or the main love interest is never like you said earlier, Phantom. The family has to die for character development. um, but I also have something in mind for the end of the book, and this will kind of set up for it. I don't want to spoil it yet because we're not quite at the end of the book, but we'll get there. So I'm thinking the guy kills his sister, loses an arm, gets saved by his dad, and they make an escape, basically. How do we then shift the power back? So I'm trying to make this kind of like a game of tug of war, where at the start of the book, Cathar has the power, right? Cathar is controlling the story. And then the evil guy kills his family. And so that gives the power to the evil guy. And then yeah, we could use a little comedy to liven it up a little bit, having Scipio ask how many family members there are. But anyway, I'm talking about having them play tug of war. Right, so Cathar has the power at the beginning of the book, then evil guy has it when he kills the family, and then Cathar takes the power back when he gets allies. And then I'm guessing the evil guy, when they're fighting in the next city, maybe he has a display of power that shows I'm still stronger than you, or he has his own allies, right? So he takes the power back, and then Cathar uh, gets more power by fighting, talking with the demon, and finding the new weapon and his sister. So that gives Cathar the power. And then learning, I think next, have kind of having the evil guy's dad step in would be giving the power back to the evil guy. Maybe it's like his father's a retired war veteran from some old war that happened, and he's really powerful and something like that. Well, I mean, Cathar's father would be dead at this point already, right? Or maybe he's not. I still don't know how I feel about bringing. I think that's better for book 2, is if Cathar beats his rival, and then in the next book, it's like, well, evil guy's father's now mad at you, and he's gonna come kill you. And evil guy's father is actually some really big politician. So maybe we don't introduce his father yet. But that still brings the question of, how do we go from Cathar almost winning and giving the power back to his enemy? I guess killing his sister kind of gives the power back to him. Should the fathers can't battle because Cathar's dad is already dead at the beginning of the book. Because only his sister survives. And him, but... Right? Alright, what did you get confused on? Because right now I'm thinking the guy's dad isn't gonna be in this book. Right? That's next book. No, nobody was saving Cathar. Okay, because this fight, right? This fight is Cathar fighting... We probably do need to give the villain a name to make this. For simplicity's sake, we're gonna give him the name Chad for right now. So Cathar fights Chad, and Chad kills his sister, but maybe loses an arm and then escapes. I was saying earlier that maybe Chad's dad saves Chad. And then, but I was thinking it would be better if Chad's dad doesn't find out until Chad is dead. And then in the next book, Chad's dad is going to try and kill Cathar. And Chad's dad would be some politician. But right now I'm thinking now. Maybe. And here's a thought. Maybe we have Chad get saved by like a dragon or something. And he like rides this dragon to escape. Right? That's gonna give. No, I feel like a dragon would be too powerful. Maybe he pulls out an ultimate weapon, right? Kind of like in Dragon Ball Z, where he has this next form or next new big spell, and that's actually how he kills his sister. Is in his getaway, he reveals his new big spell or new big weapon, fires it at Kathar's sister, kills his sister, and then makes his getaway. Right. So then he's got this this new weapon that's more powerful that gives Chad the power back, and so now Cathar has to find a way to gain power again and become stronger to go fight Cathar or Chad. So how do we then power Cathar up again? What kind of adventure does Cathar need to go on to gain power? Because he's already got some allies. He already went and found a new weapon. Apart from the old weapon, breaks apart and... No. I don't know. I mean, honestly, we're getting into the very end of the book, right? So we've got kind of time to figure this out and think about it and stew on it, so we don't really need to plan it out yet. Because at this point, I could easily write for a couple months. That's actually a good idea. We have a little bit of character development from the supporting party members and actually have them become relevant. That's pretty good. I mean, she's only a halfling, so I mean that's not that magical. Unless maybe we make her a half-elf. Because we can go back and change what she's. Maybe we make her a half-elf, and she brings Cathar and Scipio home to go and... Ooh. While his, maybe Cathar or... Ooh, no. Maybe Scipio also gets injured trying to protect Lucina from the magical blast, right? So the big bad guy, maybe he just has a really big new fireball spell that he learns, and he throws it at these guys. Cathar is obviously, he's a mage, so Cathar can defend against the fireball himself. His sister, she's just a commoner, so she gets blown up by the fireball, and then Scipio protects Lucina from the fireball, but gets injured in the process, right? Maybe just light injuries or something. So Lucina's like, I ran out of healing spells, right? So she can't actually heal anymore. So we got to take the Scipio to my people to go get healed, right? She brings them home, and then uh, so let's see. Yeah, just some burns, or maybe his equipment breaks, right? Um, and he needs to get new equipment, and they go to her home to get things fixed up. Um, and then maybe her dad is, somewhat knowledgeable of some ancient magic or something, where um, where Cathar can go and learn new magic from. Um, Maybe they have to go into like a dungeon to go find a new spell book. So we could do. They have to go into a dungeon to get a spell book that Lucina's father knows about. And then we could have them go um, and maybe he has to do it alone. Well, no, I thought Scipio's. Yeah, maybe Cathar has to go do this dungeon alone, and he kind of has some character development, just working on himself in the dungeon. I don't know. We'll see. Uh, but he's gonna go get a new spell book, basically. Um, and then now that he's got the new spell book, they could go and fight Chad again, and they can. I feel like there needs to be one more obstacle, right? There needs to be one more thing in their way before they can go and get rid of Chad and win, basically. So what? After he gets through the dungeon and has a new spell book, what do we want to? What's the last challenge that we need? Well, Chad having the new spells is back here, where he kills his sister. That's gonna be Chad's new spells. I know what the last plot points could be. Alright. You ready for this? So, we're going to have him... It's big brain time now. Catharca... Yeah. He'll have a new arm and it'll be magical or something like that. That's going to actually make the last fight be compelling and be different from the earlier fight. Um, but he has to go to a dungeon to go get a new spell book, and then they're going to fight Chad, right? Chad's gonna have his new arm, which makes things more difficult. And then I think in the final battle, Cathar's gonna die. Plot twist, main character dies. Get wrecked. And then that'll be the end of the book. There'll be a little bit of... No, I think it really should just end where he's just like, oh, and I'm dead. And the sequel will be the story of Scipio, and yes, Scipio will be the next main character. The sequel will be following Scipio or Lucina. That way, if this book doesn't work out, it has to have kind of a good ending, essentially, where not, well, it wouldn't be a good ending, it's technically a bad ending, but it has to have a resolute ending to the book, and it can't necessarily be a cliffhanger going into the next book. The next book this book has to kind of be a standalone book before you can actually do a sequel to it. There's still going to be, if it doesn't go good for a sequel, this will be a good ending. Well, I mean, yeah. But this still is a resolute ending to this book. But then, and actually, even though Cathar dies, he's not going to actually be dead because of the deal he made with the demon earlier in the book. Right? The demon's gonna be like, you can't die yet, you haven't paid me back. And that will be where the book ends. It's still kind of a cliffhanger for a sequel. But it's still a resolute ending to this book. I mean, Scipio could be the main character for the next book, but I think that's still... I had that idea earlier, and then I forgot about it, and then I just remembered it, that I was going to have him die and then come back to life. What was the deal again? So the demon's just going to give them some information, and then I think the demon is going to say, but you owe me, right, you owe me later. The devil scene will be the post-credits scene. Kinda, yeah. It's kind of like, it's gonna end like the Marvel movies where it's just like, Cathar will be back. You know, Thor will be back. Alright, let's see. So, my list of things to do before I get started on the writing. Yeah, so similar to that, where it's just like, he'll be back. The demon ain't actually gonna let him die. All right, so we need to make a pitch for the book. We need to. We've got the main character already. I've made the setting already. Antagonist. I've kind of got a loose idea of the antagonist, but next stream we're gonna make the villain. We've already kind of gone over it. Cathar Olail will be back. Cool sequel name. Yeah, pretty much. I also think we need to come up with a name for this book at some point soon. But I'm kind of waiting for inspiration to hit me in the face to actually name it. I also wanted to kind of get some of this figured out before I named it, just so I knew what the book was going to be about and I could get an accurate title for this name. We got our antagonist. We still need to do that. Let's see. Just this. I can highlight in green. We have that. I'd say we don't think of the title first, but I'd say during the book with... Yeah. I mean, we don't need to come up with it right away. But it's better if you come up with it early on in writing the book. Maybe the title could be Secret Weapon. Yeah, it could be the name of the weapon, or maybe even the family heirloom that they find earlier on in the book, or a combination of the two, or something. So we still need to come up with. Oops. That. Those are good ideas. Okay. We'll wait a little bit to actually do it. Research. I kind of already did research on it. Early obstacles and conflicts. I think we've got a good grasp on that. And I think I have a good grasp of that. Okay. So the only things left that I'm thinking we need to do for writing the book is, one, we need to come up with our antagonist, instead of just calling him Chad. We need to come up with an actual character. And then the other thing that we need to come up with is a pitch for the book. Before you start writing the book, you kind of want to write a pitch for it. A pitch is going to be it's like a 2 or 3 sentence summary of what the book's gonna be. You know how you have on the back of the books just a little blurb of what the book is? it's similar to that. The pitch is going to be kind of what you send to editors or you send to publishers that draws them into the book to actually want to draw and or publish your book. So now that we have our plot kind of figured out, what's our pitch gonna be? The pitch needs to include where the story is set, which will... I do need to double check on the setting. Ugh. I might have to cut the stream a little bit short at this point. Alright. Let's see. I had... War... Storm... Trees... Okay. So this book is going to be set in the lands of VA. Alright. So this is the lands of Valhalla. Oil has had his family killed. It's a good start, but I don't think including the details of graduating magical school are necessary. Meets allies along the way to avenge his lost family members. Cathar. Yeah. I mean, I think we should be a little more explanatory on oh wait, no, I messed that up. Valhalla is the name of the god. I almost messed that up. It's my own world and lore, and I almost messed the lore up. No, it's actually the world, or the land of Triso. Alright, so how do we make this dramatic? Yes, Cathar Oil of Triso. Make it extra dramatic. I think I need to look at some more examples of book pitches. So let me pull some up and then we can read some together. Alright. I'm gonna try and find... I honestly haven't read all that many books. I was gonna say I'm gonna try and find some of books that I know. But in all honesty, I haven't read that many books. Alright. I may not know the books, but we're just gonna read these ones out first. Alright. A gothic horror retelling of Grimm's The Juniper Tree, set in Victorian era Ukraine. I feel like that one was kind of bland. I didn't like that one. Alright, this one is Tear Down the Throne by Jennifer Estep. Most people consider Gemma Ripley nothing more than a spoiled princess, but Gemma's pampered persona is a clever disguise. She secretly moon knights as a spy and is determined to stop a powerful enemy from conquering her kingdom. See, that one's pretty good. I kind of like that one. Reading these makes me feel like my book's gonna be kind of basic and stereotypical. I don't care. It's gonna be my first book. We can come up with more drama later. The big achievement is going to be actually making the book itself. Alright. Gnar Kar. I feel like that's hard to say if you were gonna say it a couple times fast. Gnar Kar, Gnar Kar. Makes me feel like he's just gonna do a drive-by shooting because he's a gunner in a car. Gunnar is pronounced gunner. Yeah, you're just gunner car. I'm not sure. Coming up with names is difficult. Don't get me wrong. I don't blame you. I usually go up and there's a website. It's just fantasy name generators. And that's usually what I use. I just click random generate names and let, I don't know if that's AI or if it's people or whatever, I let them do the work for me because I'm honestly not good at naming things. Let's see. The League of Gentlewomen's Witches by Indiana Holton. A witch who is a... I can read. A witch who is as proper as a Jane Austen heroine, and a pirate who is no Mr. Darcy Race across Victorian England in a flying house pursuing an enchanted amulet while being chased by people determined to stop them. Most of that went right over my head. These are not good pitches. Because it's just comparing their book to other books. Alright. Let's try some more of these. The Inevitable Life of Addie LaRue by V.E. Schwab. France, 1714. In a moment of desperation, a young woman makes a Faustian bargain to live forever and is cursed to be forgotten by everyone she meets. That's kind of cool. Angar Helvig. That sounds like German or Polish. I think it's just focusing on the V. Angar Helvig. Helvig means luck in war. I mean, yeah, having the Norwegian. We'll think about it a little bit. My mind is on trying to come up with. We'll come up with something final on Friday when we do our antagonist planning, and actually, yeah, next stream will be the villain. We'll finalize everything next stream for it. Alright, so this pitch is The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe by C.S. Lewis. 4 kids travel through a wardrobe into the land of Narnia and learn of their destiny to free it by the guidance of a mystical lion. That one's short, sweet, and it tells a lot of the book in a very short sentence. Something that I'd kind of be going for. Howl's Moving Castle by Deanna Wayne Jones. When an unconfident young woman is cursed with an old body by a spiteful witch, her only chance of breaking the spell lies within a self-indulgent yet insecure young wizard and his companions in his alleged walking castle. I liked that one. Alright, so what would ours sound like? Maybe it could be like a young mage makes mistake At the end of the world, which cost him his family, seeks revenge on the one who took them. How does that sound? This is supposed to be short. It's supposed to they're called like elevator pitches, right? So it's just something that you can. No, this is file select from Super Mario 360 or 64. Alright, so we can always come up with a better one later, but let's see. You know, sometimes I forget just how dyslexic I am. And it's probably not good to have someone who's like kind of dyslexic trying to write a book, cause spell check's a bitch. Just in that one little sentence, or I guess it's 2 sentences that I wrote, I had like 4 spelling errors. It was bad. Helen Keller was blind. Well, I mean, I don't feel like that's... I mean, I can write a book. That's why autocorrect. But being blind is different than just not knowing how to spell. Because I have auto check. Spell check. I can manage. But I think it's probably good, right? I haven't been like diagnosed by a doctor, but I'm pretty confident that I'm dyslexic in some way, shape, or form. Just because I have trouble knowing left from right a lot of the time, or like loosening a bolt from tightening a bolt. A lot of the times I'll go the wrong way, and it'll take me a minute to realize it. And yeah, I have terrible spelling. I don't know. All right. Save. Plot. Save. Right, but you have to be you have to also know that righty could also be loosey. Righty if you righty tighty enough till you righty loosey. I've done that a couple times. With welding, you also do have some things that are righty loosey. So when you're working with a oxyacetylene cart, your oxygen is going to be righty tighty, lefty loosey, right? So that's oxygen. And to guarantee that you don't set up your torch wrong to cut with, because oxyacetylene is used for cutting, to make sure you don't put the hoses on backwards, the oxygen is righty tighty, lefty loosey. The acetylene, the fuel that actually burns, that's righty loosey, lefty tighty. That way you don't accidentally flip your hoses and put them onto the wrong inlets, because that'll result in you blowing up. Long story short, there are things that are righty loosey, which doesn't help because I already don't know the difference. Alright, so we got the plot. I'm just gonna close that. Maybe at some point we can redesign that bad boy. We got Cathar. Let's see, we got his name, his looks, his personality. We didn't come up with the background for him, or really any of the characters. And the goals. We do have goals, okay. Scipio, Lucina, the plot. Wish I could move what order these are in. New. Oh, I should probably file export. Alrighty, there we go. Got our plot figured out. And then next stream, we'll do the villain. Dum dum dum. And get his little physical character. Motives and arc. Name them and we'll be good to go. Alright, I think I'm gonna end the stream a little bit early because I'm a little bit extra tired today. for some reason. And we also finished up our goal for the stream, which was the plot. Yep, I'll see ya. We'll be coming up with the villain next stream, and yeah. Adios.